Welcome everyone. In this video we focus on MHC class 1 and class 2 molecules in humans though, and these, as you probably know, are called in humans specifically HLA class 1 and HLA class 2 human leukocyte antigens. Here's the question: can a single individual express more than one type of MHC molecule on the surface of the macrophages? Now, a single individual means that we talk about a specific genome here of an individual. Yep, inherited both by mother and the father of the individual. Express more than one type of MHC molecule. Now, the question does not clarify whether we need to answer about class 1 or class 2. So we will give an answer that relates to both class 1 and class 2 MHC molecules. On the surface of the macrophages, of the individual. Now, the macrophages, we know that as all nucleated cells express MHC class 1 molecules, but because they are also antigen presenting cells, they express MHC class 2 molecules. So yes, our answer would be both for class 1 and class 2 MHC molecules. Now, the answer might seem very obvious. Do they express more than one type of MHC class 1 and class 2 molecules? Yes, they express more than one type. What we will see though is why they do that, and we'll try to understand the genetics of this question. Let's start with the class 1 molecule. Here's the heavy alpha polypeptide chain of the molecule, and next to it there's the beta-2 microglobulin chain. Let's talk about this one. So since this chain, this is just one chain with 3 domains, it is encoded by one gene. So one polypeptide chain encoded by one gene. This gene is located on chromosome number 6, and there are actually 3 different genes, A, B, and C, that encode the alpha polypeptide chain of the MHC class 1 molecule. These 3 genes are shown here, the B, the C, and the A on the human chromosome 6. Now, also consider that each of these 3 genes has multiple alleles, so there are lots of alleles for each one of these. And here is the number of different alleles for each one of these genes. As we've said, there are 3 MHC class 1 molecules that genes, should say here, genes that encode for the MHC class 1 molecules. These genes are these 3 with thousands or hundreds of alleles. Now, if the person is heterozygous at each loci, the person can express 6 different class 1 molecules. Why is this the case? So let's say this is chromosome 6 from the mother with B, C, and A genes, the HLA genes always. Now, this B gene has a specific allele. I'll call this the 20 allele, the B20. C would have the C15, A would have the allele, I don't know, 2. Yeah. This person also inherits a chromosome 6 of paternal origin with the same, of course, genes. And when I say genes, I don't mean alleles though. The genes that, when encoded, they express the alpha polypeptide chain of the MHC class 1 molecule. Okay, now these B, C, and A genes will have different alleles, of course, amongst this thousands of different alleles. So they might have like 55, might have, I don't know, 16 and 1. So this individual is now, of course, heterozygous for all these loci, and this person expresses 6 different alpha polypeptide chains, which means that this person expresses on the surface of the macrophage 6 different class 1 molecules. So on this macrophage of this individual macrophage, we've got the maternal origin, we've got the paternal origin chromosome 6 with the loci for the genes HLA A, B, C on each chromosome. So again, this is A, B, and C genes. But as you see, the alleles are different, and each of them expresses a different MHC class 1 molecule, because the alpha chain, the heavy chain, is different. Someone might ask, all right, we've got those 2 alleles for the A gene, for example. Are they both expressed? Is there a dominant and a recessive gene? No, all of these HLA genes are co-dominant. This is what I'd like you to remember. This is key, so that we can then justify why all of them are expressed and not some of these. The huge number of different alleles plus the fact that they are co-dominant justifies why all of these are expressed. So definitely an individual will most likely have like different alleles for these 3 specific genes, and these will all be expressed since all the genes are co-dominant, and they will produce different MHC class 1 molecules. As for the MHC class 2 molecule, as you see, it's a protein complex which consists of 2 polypeptide chains, alpha and beta. And for this molecule, there are also 3 sets of genes, DP, DQ, and DR. Be careful in this case when we say HLA DP. This is not about one gene, this is a set of genes. One gene that codes for the alpha polypeptide chain of the MHC class 2 molecule, alpha chain of the MHC class 2 molecule, and the other one codes, of course, for the beta chain of the MHC class 2 molecule. This is the same in all 3 different genes. So the correct to say is that HLA, DP, DQ, DR are sets of genes. DP and DQ are actually referring to pairs of genes. DR, in some individuals, we've got an additional gene that codes again for the beta chain. In this bar chart, you can see the number of different alleles, at least up to 2017, of the 3 genes that code for either the alpha chain or the beta chain of the MHC class 2 molecule. This also means they are all located on chromosome 6 again. An individual inherits 1 chromosome 6 from the mother, 1 chromosome 6 from the father. With those 3 sets of genes, these genes will have different alleles. So again, the MHC class 2 molecules will have different alpha and beta chains, making them all different to each other on the same cell, on the same macrophage. Going back to our question, the answer is yes, a single individual can express more than one type of MHC, class 1 molecules initially and class 2 also molecules on the surface of the macrophage. Why is that? Because the alpha chain, just to recap, the alpha chain of the MHC class 1, it is encoded by 3 genes with thousands of alleles for every gene, which are all co-dominant. So a huge variety of alpha chains leading to a huge variety of MHC class 1 molecules. We haven't said anything about the beta 2, the other small polypeptide chain of the MHC class 1 molecule. Unlike the highly polymorphic HLA genes, the beta 2 gene is relatively conserved, does not have many alleles, so it doesn't add to the variability of the MHC class 1 molecule, so conserved. Same happens for the class 2 molecules with 3 sets of genes. Each set, DP, etc., will have like 2 genes with few alleles for each gene as well. So you would expect an individual with 3 genes for MHC1, 3 sets of genes for MHC2, all of them will have alleles which would be different if compared to the chromosome of maternal origin or paternal origin. Again, 3 genes, again 3 sets of genes for the class 2 and for the class 1, but the alleles would be different. All of them, though, are co-dominant, so all of them will be expressed, and you'll end up with a macrophage that has 6 different MHC class 1 molecules and 6 different MHC class 2 molecules. That's all from me for today. Thank you all for your patience.